everyone. Welcome back to Fulgur channel, your go-to source for in-depth analyses on international events. Today, we're delving into the escalating tensions in the South China Sea, where the United States and the Philippines are making strategic moves. Before we jump in, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell to stay informed about crucial geopolitical developments. As the world watches, the South China Sea has become a hotbed of geopolitical tensions. The focus today is on the actions taken by the United States and the Philippines, both strategically positioning themselves on islands in the region. While Taiwan has long been considered a potential flashpoint between the US and China, another geopolitical storm may be brewing in the South China Sea, one that could force Washington to make some difficult choices. From laser pointers blinding Philippine sailors to collisions at sea near key military outposts, tensions are rapidly surging between Manila and Beijing in these strategically and economically important waters, where the two have overlapping claims. By bolstering the country's defense capabilities as well as deepening defense ties with the US and like-minded countries such as Japan and Australia, Philippine President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. has taken a tough stance on territorial disputes with China, and he is backing this up with bold moves. Earlier this month, Manila announced that more partners would join naval patrols in the disputed waters, while revealing plans to develop Philippine-controlled islands and reefs in the Spratly Island chain, with the country's military now tasked with coming up with innovative ways to handle the issue. Manila's newfound assertiveness has likely been emboldened by assurances from the US that the country's 1951 Mutual Defense Treaty applies to armed attacks on either nation's armed forces or public vessels anywhere in the South China Sea. But while the moves are intended to deter Beijing, they are also increasing the chances of an incident exploding into a wider conflict, experts say, with some viewing the steps as indications that the window for diplomacy may be closing. Beijing claims a large chunk of the resource-rich South China Sea, but rejects any involvement by non-claimant states in the territorial dispute, including the US, Canada, Australia, and Japan. Tensions have been rising so fast in recent months that senior Chinese and Philippine officials agreed last week to further improve maritime communication and properly manage their differences through consultation. To better deal with urgent situations at sea, especially manage the situation at Rene Reef. The shoal has been at the center of simmering tensions as Chinese ships continue to harass resupply vessels near a Philippine garrison atop the aging Sierra Madre warship, which was deliberately grounded there in 1999 to assert Philippine sovereignty claims. With neither side willing to give in, Philippine Military Chief Gen Romeo Brawner last week announced plans to upgrade 9 territorial features in the area, including installing a desalination machine at 2nd Thomas Shoal to make them more habitable for troops. The primary goal of these plans would be to sustain a presence in the area and reduce the need for rotation and resupply missions, said Aris Aruge, a visiting senior fellow at the ISEA's Yusof Ishak Institute in Singapore. By doing so, Manila also hopes to make it much harder for China to force the Philippines to abandon the outpost by blocking critical supplies. The most important needs for the Philippine outposts are mainly quality of life improvements, said Gregory Poling, Director of the Southeast Asia Program at the US-based Center for Strategic and International Studies. These outposts are much less developed than those of any of the other claimant states, and their personnel live in much worse conditions, he said. While upgrades to other features shouldn't face major constraints, it is unclear how Manila plans to improve conditions aboard the Sierra Madre as China continues to impede access. China has not opposed the Philippines to supply food and water for the soldiers on the warship, but it opposes the Philippines to transport construction materials and other equipment to the area to consolidate the ship and to make its presence there more permanent, said Jiqin Zhu, an international relations professor at Bucknell University in the U.S. Beijing considers this as both a violation of a tacit agreement and an attempt to change the status quo by Manila, he said. Also unclear is the extent to which Manila plans to bolster the military capabilities on these features. The purpose is to entrench more island-type defenses in the South China Sea to counteract China's dredging and building of numerous atolls and islands where it has installed military facilities, said the Council on Foreign Relations Joshua Kurlansik. Given the poor conditions of the rusting Sierra Madre, some, such as Blake Herzinger of the United States Studies Center at the University of Sydney, have even said that Manila should establish a forward operating base at the shoal before being forced to react to deteriorating conditions. The Philippines should remove the Sierra Madre and replace it with a permanent structure manned by combined rotational forces from both the Philippines and the U.S. Marine Corps, Herzinger wrote. Adding that Manila would be well within its rights to maintain a security presence there under the UN Convention on the Law of the Sea. If you found this video informative, give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. Don't forget to subscribe for more insightful content. Thanks for joining us on Fulgur channel. Until next time, stay informed, stay curious.